Yeah, do you want to talk to us a bit about your start before you got into poetry? Like, what was your start like as a musician?
Yeah, so I started in music kind of because it was something that I was good at.
Mm.
And I didn't really know I was good at, but other people were like, you're good at that. You should do that. But I was always kind of on the fence about it because I was like, I don't really like performing, but I love making the music. I was like, that part is exciting. But the performing part was a struggle for me. So I always had this sort of tension of like, how can I make music without being seen? It's
Mm.
like, how can I do that? And that's very hard to do, as it turns out. So what ended up happening was around that, I would kind of just float back and forth between like, oh, am I going to be a musician? Am I going to be an artist? That was kind of the story of my whole life from preteen all the way through college. And then after college, so my younger sister, Jamie Grace, she had a full, like, she's the exact opposite. Like, she
Wait,
loves to
that's your
play music.
sister?
Yeah.
Your sister's Jamie Grace?
Scott, did you really not know that?
I seriously did not know this.
How have we talked this much and that's
It's
never come
literally
up?
news to me.
Are you serious?
Are you for real?
Yes. How has this never come up?
I didn't know.
That's so funny.
Okay, wow.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I was gonna
That's
ask
my
earlier,
younger
is your
sister.
sister musical?
Yes. Yeah. So my sister is musical and she got started on YouTube. She like, and she's still really into YouTube. She loves
Yes.
YouTube. So she would like write
She came
parody
up on my
songs.
TikTok the other day.
And that is so funny. Yes, that's my sister.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so she was getting started and like starting to travel and stuff. And through her, I ended up finding out about the songwriting industry. And I found out that like people could get a songwriting deal. So you could get a songwriting deal where they pay you to write songs for other people, like in quiet rooms with no windows. I was like, this sounds amazing. I'm like, sign me up. This is amazing. So that became sort of like, okay, I know what I want to do in the music industry now. And thankfully, I was able to get a songwriting deal. However, the issue that I quickly learned is that, sometimes it can take a couple of years or decades even to earn enough revenue that, it could actually pay the bills. So that was a struggle. And kind of the only thing that I was able to find was like, okay, I guess in order to supplement, like, in order to be able to do this, I've got to find other things to supplement. So that led me into like 5 years of just doing all kinds of musical stuff, just like going on tours with my sister, going on other tours with other artists, singing background vocals for other artists, just doing all these different things, just, living the freelance music life essentially. So that's kind of my music story. It was let me just do all these things just so I can get back to the creating. But funny enough, even though I was very resistant toward the touring, I really do think the touring really revealed to me that I really do love connecting with people. And I love hearing people's stories. And when I start to doubt myself, and because it's hard when you're an artist and I was almost always an opening act. So that's always hard because like people didn't come to see you. They're looking at their phones like, okay, how many songs do you have until the the artist that I paid for comes out? And that was very hard for me because I didn't feel like I was very good at like selling myself to a crowd or an audience. But there was almost always a moment after the show where at least one person would come up to my table and say, thank you so much for sharing that song. This made me feel this way. Here's what I've been through. And that was the moment of the night where I felt like the most fulfilled. I mean, I'm grateful for any time anyone has ever clapped for me in a crowd. Thank you. But it was those moments, those one-on-one moments that I was like, whatever that is, I want more of that. And I want to create for that. So I say all that to say, even though I'm not touring anymore, I really do. I know now that I needed to experience that so that I could start picking up on those little hints that led to where I am today. So, and now the cool thing is that I still get to make music, but just in a different way. I've been writing a song every day for the year.
Yeah,
Wow.
talk to us a bit about that, because I know you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah,
What
so
is that? Like a song a day?
yeah, so
Wow.
most of the songs are pretty mediocre. They're not great songs, but the reason why I wanted to do it was because I wanted to reclaim that part of myself that loves to make music, but it's not about the performance or the industry side of it. I was like, I just need to fall in love with music again and not associate it with like everything that I experienced when I was in the music industry.
Mhm.
So yeah, I put it out there. It's public. People can see it. But I kind of like don't talk about it all the time because it's really just like a way for me. And in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm 14 again. Like I feel like I'm 14 sitting there on my little IBM laptop, uploading songs to pure volume in my space just for fun. And it feels like that again. So
But
so
that's how
yeah,
you
I feel
find
like
the
I'm
gold, right? Because you just keep writing. Like Dolly Parton's written 3,000 songs, but we could
I love
argue
it.
and say that, they're not all hits, but I mean,
I'd
Yeah.
listen to all
there, right?
3,000.
Right? They're not all 3,000, but the
Yeah.
I'll Always Love You is in there. So is that what you
Mhm.
just kind of, when you're doing that, are you just like, just letting yourself just sing whatever comes to your mind? Like how are you
Yeah.
writing lyrics? Like what is that process like?
Yeah, so I have like minimal knowledge with producing, and I use that word very very careful. I'm not a producer by any means, but again, my sister, shout out to Jamie. I was like, hey Jamie, I want to be able to do enough to like put my songs, like make it sound like something, that's bearable for the ear to hear. So she is a producer. So she came over and she was like, okay, I'll put these plugins on Logic for you. So you'll just be able to log on and just record from there. So that's what I do. Like I have like guitar plugins, I have keyboard plugins where I'll just play some basic chords and then I'll just kind of see what comes up. And it's really fun. Some days it's just instrumental because I'm doing this in Logic, and it's just like you can layer your tracks and just make it instrumental, and then sometimes it has like a little chorus, or sometimes I'll write a full song.
Wow.
So it's really fluid, and not a lot in my life is that way in terms of creativity. Because once you start doing things as like your profession, like you have like a system and a flow to it. But this just feels really organic, and I feel like it's just fun. And some of the videos literally have like 200 views, and I don't care. Like I'm just like,
Not for
that was
it's
200 people who sat there and listened to this
Yeah.
thing. Like
Yeah.
that's amazing to me. So
That's
yeah,
really-
I feel like I'm falling in love with music in a new way right now.